So here we are again, another sellout at Emirates Stadium, back to back, just a fortnight after Arsenal women sold out the Emirates Stadium for the game against Manchester United, and it's becoming really routine, and it's actually becoming difficult to find new things to say about it, really. It's really incredible that this has become the baseline for Arsenal, and really nobody else, it has to be said. Arsenal will play Chelsea women at Stamford Bridge in a couple of weeks, and Chelsea women have given Arsenal an away allocation of 6,000 tickets. That is unheard of in the WSL. In fact, away ends and away allocations themselves are all pretty new. So to get one of that size, I think first of all tells you that everyone appreciates the demand that Arsenal fans have. I think it also tells you that Chelsea are maybe looking to pump up their numbers a little bit on the back of Arsenal fans. But great to see another sellout here, particularly a fortnight after the last one and coming so close, only a few hundred tickets away from selling out the Chelsea game. This is really becoming routine now. But aside from all of that, which is all obviously lovely, Arsenal have a job to do here today against Tottenham. First and foremost, because they need to win, because they're Arsenal, they always need to win. Manchester City beat Everton yesterday in the lunchtime kickoff. That puts them 6 points ahead of Arsenal, but this is Arsenal's game in hand, so they need to keep that gap nice and close. They still have to go to Manchester City in May, so they need to keep on the coattails of those teams, and obviously Arsenal owe Tottenham one as well, because Tottenham beat Arsenal in the reverse fixture before Christmas for the first time in their history, and Arsenal have had issues with this type of game this season. They've had no problems with the Manchester Uniteds, Chelseas and Cities when the games are a bit more open, but when teams like Spurs come and they bank up behind the ball and put lots of players behind the ball, Arsenal have struggled in those games. They've lost to Tottenham, they've lost to Liverpool, they've lost to West Ham, all mid-table teams this season. So this is a big challenge for Arsenal. They've got a lot of players missing as well. They've got players at the Gold Cup with Canada and the US. They've got some injuries, bit of illness as well. So it's not going to be a big and deep bench today, but it's a huge game and it's just an absolute must win, which it always is for Arsenal. But with 8 games left in the WSL title race, Arsenal, I think, basically have to win every single game. And if they do that, they might well win the league. But anything less than that, they probably won't. That's how big this game is today. Kick off here in the North London derby. The big news, team news-wise, is that Katie McCabe, Victoria Pelova both passed fit to play for Arsenal, and to start this game, Leah Williamson fit enough for the bench. So that's the Volti, Pelova, Kim Little midfield triangle, which I think is becoming Jonas Eidevall's preferred midfield at this stage. But Stina Blackstenius, Kyra Cooney-Cross on the bench as well, so there is, and Frida Mornham, so there is a bit of attacking depth if Arsenal need to change it. Now clearly this is going to be a big challenge for Arsenal, because Tottenham are going to bank up and defend in numbers, which is something that Arsenal have struggled with this season, but Spurs also carry threat on the counter, particularly through Grace Clinton and her dribbling. So let's see how Arsenal go here. So halfway through the first half, still Arsenal 0, Spurs 0. No real surprises in the way that this game has panned out. Spurs defending deep and in numbers, lots of block shots at the moment. Every time Arsenal get within 25 yards of that Tottenham goal, there's lots of bodies in the way. But Spurs, the real difference for them compared to a year or two ago is they really do have a lot of threat on the counter-attack, with Jessica Naz, Grace Clinton, Bizet, Martha Thomas had a shot that was well saved by Zinsberger. The only kind of interesting thing here as well is Tottenham opted to reverse the team so that Arsenal attacked the North Bank in the first half, and the sun has really caused the problem for Spurs goalkeeper Rebecca Spencer on set pieces. Arsenal haven't been able to punish it yet, but something to keep an eye on for the rest of the half. So Arsenal 0, Spurs 0 at half-time. And if Arsenal were looking, or Arsenal fans rather, were looking for a bit of encouragement about Arsenal's issues against deep blocks this season, probably not a great deal of encouragement from that first half, it must be said. Arsenal really haven't opened Spurs up at all. They've caused a bit of problem from a couple of set pieces because the sun has been directly in Tottenham goalkeeper Rebecca Spencer's eyes, but in open play they've not really opened Tottenham up very much. Lots of bodies in the box, but Arsenal's play still too structured, too predictable. The ball still moves a bit too slowly. There's still a lack of instinct and inspiration. You know, you see these really kind of frustrating sequences of play where someone might turn and get past the Tottenham player and you think, here we go. And then they stop or delay the pass or decide to pass backwards. And that's really been an issue for Arsenal this season, trying to find that balance between having a good structure, but at the same time it still feels too patterned, too heavily structured to really trouble Tottenham and move them out of position. And in fact, Tottenham probably created two of the best chances of the half on the counter-attack. They hit the crossbar through Jessica Naz, and Martha Thomas had a good opportunity. If that had been on her right foot instead of her left foot, she might have scored. So plenty for Jonas Eidevall and the team to think about at half-time, but I think I'd just like to see Arsenal take a few more risks with the ball. There's a balance, of course. You can't just smash the ball at goal every time. You can't just punt it forward every time. But the dial is still turned far too much towards the cautious side, and Arsenal just aren't doing enough to move Tottenham around. So really, same old story against deep blocks so far, but you do get the feeling that an Arsenal goal will open this game up. So beginning of the second half, no changes at half-time, certainly not in terms of personnel anyway, but Arsenal will be looking for a lot more momentum, move that ball more quickly, try and move this Tottenham deep block around a little bit. And it's a big 45 minutes for Jonas Eidevall because it's exactly the type of challenge Arsenal have struggled with all season, and there really needs to be signs of progress against this type of opponent in this half. That's 1-0 Arsenal, very, very important goal right at the beginning of the second half. Exactly what Arsenal wanted. Wonderful lofted ball by Kim Little over the top of the Tottenham left back into Beth Mead. The first time Arsenal have really got in behind Spurs today, really made them panic in their own penalty area. Mead couldn't quite make the shot her own, but pulled the ball back, and Alessia Russo on the edge of the 6-yard box to put the ball away, and that's an important goal for her as well, that kind of 6-yard box goal, because it's something we've spoken about with Jonas over the last couple of weeks about Russo being in that advanced position more often. She is this time. She puts it away from 6 yards. 1-0 Arsenal. So we're halfway through the second half. Still Arsenal 1, Spurs 0. Arsenal haven't really opened up Tottenham again. They look a bit better than they did in the first half, but difficult to pass how much that's anything different that Arsenal are really doing, or the extent to which the goal has opened the game up a little bit. One thing I think I am seeing is that diagonal ball to Beth Mead going a little bit quicker, a little bit more sharply, and we saw that for the goal, but still on a bit of a knife edge here. Tottenham have plenty of attacking players who can hurt Arsenal on the counter-attack, and I think you can feel in the crowd that there's still a bit of anxiety about this. Still 1-0 Arsenal.
Second substitution, Lara Cabina. To be replaced by number 6, Leah Williamson. Fourth officials indicating a minimum of 7 minutes at a time. 7 minutes. Full time here at the Emirates Stadium. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
So full-time Arsenal 1, Spurs 0. That always sounds very nice, doesn't it? And the important thing is that Arsenal got the result here today. In terms of how supporters feel in particular about Arsenal's kind of issues against deep blocks this season, I'm not sure this game is going to reassure a lot of people, if I'm honest. This felt like, to me, it looked like a 1-0 game. I think 1-0 to Arsenal was about the right kind of result. It wasn't a game where Arsenal really bashed the door down, and how did it finish 1-0? 1-0 was about right. Some real quality in the winning goal though. Brilliant ball by Kim Little. Beth Mead making that kind of dagger run in behind, something we didn't see enough of in the first half, and Russo sweeping the ball home from 6 yards, the type of goal I know Arsenal really want to see her score more and more. But at the same time, the game didn't open up after that. Arsenal got that early goal in the second half, and I think a lot of us would have been feeling, okay, the game's going to open up now, there'll be more opportunities, but Arsenal didn't create an awful lot more after that, and clearly Spurs have a lot of threat on the counter-attack this season. That's a real distinction between Tottenham teams of past, so Arsenal did have to manage that situation, but I'm not going to lie to you and say that after that I felt Arsenal looked dangerous, because I kind of don't think they did. They managed the game a little bit, but there weren't really a lot of chances in that second half after that goal. So look, the important thing is Arsenal got the win. They deserved to win. But again, I don't think those questions about how Arsenal cope with deep block defences in particular are going to go away after this game. Full time, Arsenal 1, Tottenham 0.